friends. Thank you for tuning into the Odd Thoughts podcast. At the Odd Thoughts podcast, we like to talk about the everyday odd thoughts, have conversations on relatable topics, and discuss whatever comes to mind. My name is Gunther, and I am your host. Welcome to episode 25. For episode 25, I wanted to start off by talking a little bit about confidence, a little bit about self assurance, believing in yourself, and having that ability to express that belief in yourself. Then, secondly, I transitioned into talking about the possibility of being a video game character or what it would be like to be in a video game. I'm quite immersed in video games when I play them, so my imagination loves to run a little wild and dreaming about what it'd be like. Then I transitioned into talking about an article that I had read about Microsoft acquiring Activision-Blizzard, which Activision-Blizzard is a company that um, they make video games, and Microsoft recently bought them out. So there's a possibility of some classic franchises being revamped, specifically Activision-Blizzard franchises. Then, lastly, I decided I wanted to finish out on talking about what it would be like to meet a celebrity, or kind of how I'd react, the possibility of that, a couple celebrities I'd love to meet. So, if you want to listen to any of that, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for stopping by. Please enjoy. How's everybody doing though? I hope y'all are doing okay. I'm happy to see y'all. Thank you for stopping by, sitting down for a little bit. Just just amazed. I get to look at all you beautiful people, all you good-looking, smart, funny, kind people, and I just think about how blessed I am to exist alongside so many great people. Such a variety of people. And it took a lot for everybody to be this way. I know that it's hard. And you sometimes have to go through a little bit of that down, a little bit of that negative to become who you are. You had to suffer. You had to go through that pain. You had to work. You had to shape everything you are about yourself today. But look at what you are. Look at what you're doing. You managed to show up for yourself, and it's not always going to be perfect, but I'm proud of what you do. Like I said, some days aren't going to be great. You're going to be hard on yourself, and it's going to be hard to feel good about yourself. But when you are your true when you are your true self, that's when you should be the most proud. It's not always going to be easy to be you, be the real you. So appreciate all the aspects that make you you, good or bad. Appreciate the fact that humans have their own quirks and their own whims and their own problems. And like I said, just awesome that I get to exist alongside you guys. And I hope that you feel the same sort of blessing, the same sort of beauty that the human race has is the same sort of beauty you have. But look at everybody, man. Y'all are doing great. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Like I said, sorry for fumbling a little bit. But yeah, episode 25. I'm doing okay. Uh Today, the day that I'm recording this is my little sister's birthday. So, happy birthday, Katie. She is 25, which is pretty awesome. Feels like it wasn't that long ago that we were little kids just hanging out doing whatever. It's been awesome to have her as my sister, obviously, and she's been busy over the weekend with hanging out with friends. It's kind of the unfortunate thing when your birthday falls on the weekday, you don't always get a lot of time. But, she's gone and did her thing and she's had some fun. I've seen on Instagram and stuff like that. And we've got to have a little fun over the last couple days, yesterday, and I know that today we've been playing a game called Project Zomboid. I think I've mentioned it a couple times, so it's been the game that we've been playing on the computer together, and it's been fun. Yesterday we had a pretty long session, a couple hours, and It was fun. We got a lot done. At least it felt like we got a bit done. And we're gonna play today sometime, hopefully sometime. But Project Zomboid is an amazing game, and it's funny to think about all the times I used to force her when she was little on playing just whatever game, you know? And sometimes she'd want to play video games with me, but sometimes it really felt like most of the time it was like forcing her. I just wanted someone to be there around me. But it's shaped her like interest in video games. She's not as big of a gamer as I am, but the games that she likes are very similar to the ones that I like. So we found this game, Project Zomboid, and literally had oodles of fun. And it's just a big game, so much to do in it. It really feels like we haven't really even like chipped away at the minimum of what you can do in the game. It'd be a lot better if she didn't die all the time in the game. I wonder if she'll hear this. Probably. But she dies a lot. But I do have an advantage that I'm playing on a controller, even though it's a computer or whatever. It's cheating a little bit, but and she's playing like with a mouse and keyboard, so that's a little harder, and I get it. She always finds the rooms that like the zombies like trapped behind the door type thing, or she just like we always pick deaf characters, and so there's like different perks and like negative and good perks you can have for your character, and you have to have. And so usually we both pick deaf so we can load up on as many good traits as possible. And we don't play with the sound on necessarily, but this makes you think. It's really kind of a realistic game in that, zombies can sneak up on you, and if you're not like facing the general direction of the zombies, then they'll come and get you. They'll come and get you. But yeah, I've been having fun with that. Happy birthday, KK. I love you. I appreciate the chance to get to be your brother, and I know that we'll have so many more good years, and I think you're smart, beautiful, kind, just one of the greatest people that I know, one of my best friends, and I love you with all my heart, KK. But let's jump into sorry. Let's jump into episode 25. Confidence comes with a certain level of self assurance, believing yourself and expressing that belief. And sometimes confidence can come off as fake or come off as very egotistical, as a front. And a lot of times, confidence can be a fleeting thing. At one moment, you feel very confident, and then maybe the next, not so much. But nonetheless, confidence is knowing what you have, loving yourself, loving those things about yourself. I think sometimes even just having like I said, a self assurance, whether it be a self assurance in your personality or your looks, or you can have confidence with doing things, working a job or trying to complete a task. Sorry. But self assurance nonetheless. It's this knowing of capability. You're good at maybe XYZ, ABC, or whatever, or you're whatever, good looking, or you're confident in the way that you talk to people, or you're confident in your ability to do something for the first time. Just a spectrum on what confidence can be. But nonetheless, just knowing that you can do it, knowing that you have it, and whatever it is, you can use it. It's also that level of expressing yourself. You know, it can sometimes come off as fake. And sometimes people who are super self assured don't know how to express themselves. So it lies in that sometimes you even got to lie to yourself and build your confidence a little bit. Even though there are some people that kind of have that egotistical view, or it kind of feels like they're a little cocky, you can't necessarily hate on them. It hurts a little bit to watch, and maybe because you're not super confident, and I know that I'm not always confident. And so it's a little intimidating to be around confident people. But nonetheless, you got to kind of tell yourself to be confident. You kind of got to be your own, what am I trying to say? Purveyor or whatever. You got to be your own pushing factor. Love yourself, right? Love what you are, what you do. And sometimes confidence is built from other people. Sometimes people are telling you that you're great at a certain job or that you're good looking and great to be around. So, quite often, assurance can be built from other people. And I don't think, sometimes people can be maybe disingenuous, but it's all depending on how you take it. That could be a thing of people feeding into it, even, is that they just don't want to kind of burst your bubble and they're just kind of telling you what they want or what you want more so, what you want to hear. But as long as you keep it in your head and nobody can take that away from you. Especially like it's kind of wrong to take away someone's confidence. Even if like you just don't agree with how they act and you think it's an egotistical thing, probably not your place to take away someone's confidence. Tearing down confidence is a whole nother thing. That's definitely hard. You want people to be self assured, right? You want people to believe in themselves. And sometimes it is going to maybe unintentionally come off a little fake. And sometimes, you just don't know how to be a confident person. Like, you have the feeling of confidence in yourself and your ability to do whatever, but it just doesn't come out that way. Like, I think we all can maybe relate a little bit on being confident on certain things. Maybe you feel like, you're not necessarily the best looking person, so you're not confident on meeting people or being around others, but you're confident at work because you're hardworking and people rely on you and you show up every day. And so you have confidence at work. Or, maybe you're someone that's kind of handy, right? So, you have confidence when you go in to go fix the fridge or, go look at someone's car and see what's wrong with it. Sometimes delusional is not bad necessarily. I don't know what the good version of delusional is, but you need to speak it into existence. Maybe that's like the good thing is delusional is filling your head with the the unnecessitated, the unequated thoughts where like you don't necessarily deserve the confidence or something like that, or you don't hold it right, you don't hold yourself right, and quite often it kind of leads into like that egotistical nature. But then, like, the good version of it would be speaking it into existence, knowing that you do have great things about yourself, great aspects. And just because it isn't one of these things, that doesn't mean that these others don't exist. Or just because someone maybe hasn't needed you to help them out, or you haven't needed to, show yourself off in a certain way, or, show that you're capable shouldn't necessarily take away from that confidence. Sometimes just the knowing should give you a little bit of that confidence. It's definitely way better than self-hatred. That's for sure. It's hard to kind of come from that poor self-view to gain that confidence, I think a lot of times. I know that we all can maybe be nitpicky with ourselves and see the little bit of wrongs that we have and you know, forever I think we'll judge ourselves a little bit and we'll make sure that we'll let ourselves know about the bad things too. So to build up that confidence from a zero or even a negative place, is hard. But it's always that self-perception. You kind of have to force yourself to change that. Quite often I get in this like devastated mindset where I don't think I'm very capable of things and I'm not always great in social settings or I don't think I'm good looking or my body doesn't look great or whatever. So I beat myself up a lot and then when I try to be confident and I try to build up that self view, comes off as like fake. I like think I'm like lying to myself or something, which is just a whole nother thing that I don't need to put in my head. And us as people don't need to, because there's advantages to confidence. You can use it to your advantage. It feels like when you're a confident person that people don't really like, attack you for it necessarily. When you walk into a place with confidence, nobody pops you. You know, you walk into a social setting and you're an extroverted, bubbly person and you're meeting everybody, and it's an advantage. I think definitely with that mindset of knowing and believing in yourself, it just helps. It kind of lets you dive into things a little bit easier, makes it a little easier. Whether it be like, yeah, like social setting, right? If you're a confident person, it's almost like you kind of want to be seen in a way, or at least you know that people want to see you. Not that you're, the best, you're the shit or whatever. Excuse my language, but you know that you have things that people want to see. You can mingle. You know that you can vibe, or like jobs, right? Maybe you're not a social person, but when you go to work, you're the man. You're the woman. You work hard. People rely on you. You show up on time and you're always willing to stay late, work overtime, and people rely on you at work. You have that confidence every time you're walking in, knowing that, oh, this job is pretty easy. I'll get my stuff done and, I'll get out of here with a good paycheck. And, you have that confidence that people will come to you and ask you for help. It's very much so. I think like confidence is it's such a fleeting thing even at times, really truly. Because at times you might also believe that you're kind of a confident person, and what if other people, the outside world or whatever, is kind of telling you that no, you're not though. You have these great things and you want to believe in yourself and you want to, feed the positive aspects, but for some reason the world can be cold and can kind of tell you that no, you're not this, or you don't need to be believing that or whatever, which is no right on the world, shame on the world. But that can affect confidence when people are tearing you down for no reason. When people have low confidence themselves, they have a tendency to feel like that confident people are kind of like attacking them. And I know sometimes I can feel that way a little bit. I can feel not attacked, but definitely intimidated by confident people. And it's just everybody, I think, you don't have to take it to 100. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it is like, you don't have to all of a sudden just be so self assured. It takes time. It takes that little bit of like knowing things about yourself. You kind of got to learn things about yourself. You got to meet a certain amount of people, or just maybe do things like make yourself a little useful, put yourself out there in social settings. Do things to make yourself a little bit better looking. It literally is these small steps that you have to take to build up confidence. And I mean, starting from zero, like I said, is very hard. You have to just envision the better. You kind of have to envision that these aspects of yourself are great, but also be very real and say that you shouldn't prop up those bad things about yourself, right? If you know that you're not necessarily a great, worker at work, at your job, then don't act like it. Don't act like you're something. And I mean, you may not be the best looking person, and you try to portray yourself as a good looking person, and sometimes looks is confidence, but also other people won't believe that. People just aren't won't be attracted to you, and it's not necessarily like sexual attraction. It could be just wanting to be around you. And that's a tough realization, is that not everything that you believe with yourself, and all the things that you believe in yourself aren't always going to be everybody's kind of cup of tea, or they're not going to always be great. And you shouldn't have to feel, or you shouldn't feel confidence at all for those bad things. But doesn't mean you can't change. Doesn't mean you can't build that confidence up. I'm someone, like I said, I struggle very hard with confidence. I don't feel like I'm very capable, or I don't feel like I'm good looking, or I don't feel like I'm good with social cues or in social settings more so. But it takes every day. I tell myself a little bit more that I'm not that bad looking, and at the times that I've been around people, things have been pretty good and done good at work. The last job I had, I worked for 8 years there, and I did great. It was just time to move on, do something different. But you just gotta have that self assurance. Confidence is very much so self assurance. It's, like I said, knowing what you have, knowing how to express that, loving yourself, and believing that you are capable in the world and capable in whatever you do. I've played a lot of video games in my time. I've played video games for probably the better part of 20 plus years, and some good, some bad, but I've tried to enjoy each one with like the same level of investment. I just want to enjoy the game. And inevitably, over time, there have been plenty of games that have stuck out, that have felt like amazing worlds to discover, and characters have been amazing, and the gameplay has been awesome. But quite often when I play games, I like to play games that I can kind of immerse myself in the world, that I can kind of drift away and dream of maybe being in the video game. And got me kind of thinking about what would it be like to be a video game character? Like, what if I was actually in a video game? What if this was like some player one type thing? I would just I get more invested in open world type games and like RPG games. So there's storyline usually and whole vast open world that you can explore and a little bit of customization, and there's usually some, fighting elements, and I usually try to play those games because I can invest so much time in it. And every time I play through, it feels like I can pick up on different things. And some games offer like different play strategies and whatnot. But I think if I was gonna be a video game character, or I was gonna put myself in a video game world, it'd probably be something like that. Open world RPG type game. Like Skyrim is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'll probably play Skyrim forever. It's a medieval vibe though. I don't know if I want to go to the medieval times, and there's a lot of scary things to fight, dragons as well in Skyrim, you know? Or a game like Fallout. Fallout is post-apocalyptic world, post-nuclear apocalypse. So, radiation and radiated creatures. I don't know if I want to deal with all that. Grand Theft Auto seems like just too chaotic of a world. People coming up and just jacking your car. But maybe those games would be a little different if I was a different type of character, depending on, or more so, depending on what character I am. If I was in a game like The Sims, that's just normal life, so that'd be easy. But let's say I was in like Skyrim. Would I be the Dragonborn? Would I be the main character? Or just like any type of character game like that? Be the main character. I get to like go around and start a bunch of quest lines that I'm not gonna finish, you know, or collect a bunch of things that I'm probably just gonna sell off to a vendor for some extra gold. Just go for the hunt for legendary weapons. Maybe realistically, I think I'd have to be real with myself, realistically, and say that I'd probably be a side character. Maybe a little more than an NPC, you know? I don't want to just be like the guy that's sitting in the corner of the bar that says like four lines that he cycles through. maybe I can give a mission or a quest, be like, or like the sidekick of the main character, where or I'm constantly getting downed and revived. Where, I can carry the stuff that you don't want to carry so that you're not over encumbered, but I'll be over encumbered for your convenience. But I don't know if I could be a main character. Some of these games are intense, and I don't think I could be like Kratos in God of War or something like that, right? But I would like to be a little integral to the story. Like I said, give a mission, give a quest line, maybe a main quest. I won't push it. Everybody's got things that want to be done. The main character is very much so a wanted person in the game, quite often. So hopefully I can give him a good mission, a main quest mission, or like maybe I tell him of a secret item, a secret treasure you can go and invest in or go investigate and find, or just be I could just be a shop owner. Maybe I'm the potion shop owner or whatever. I'm the owner of the local eatery where you replenish your health. I would love to go into like the mocapping session, and I dream of voice acting, and one day I think I might pursue that. I just got to build that confidence in myself, but it's just fun to think exploring the worlds. That's the whole thing with when I play these video games and I think about putting myself in the video game is I just want to explore the worlds. I wish I could just be like I said a fly on the wall even more so and just go look. I think I'd be so distracted with so many things in the world. When I play games like Skyrim or Fallout or any of those games, I get so distracted. I just go off and I do random things. I just want to like open up parts of the maps that I haven't discovered, or you find like random side missions or people give you like random tasks, and I just get so like involved in that. I'll have like multiple days where I'll play a video game and not do any of the main quest. So, if I was in the game and I was like a main character, it'd be kind of funny to think that what if like one of the main quest lines was, go save the people from a group of bandits or whatever. But then like I spend 5 hours going on side missions. Realistically, those people are probably dead in that town because of those bandits. But in a video game, they lasted. The damage isn't done until you show up, or like it won't start being done until you show up. It's funny to think that like the chaos is just waiting for you. The final boss is just sitting there so that you can collect all the collectibles before the end of the game. Oh, man, like I said, I would take anything. I don't have to be the main character. Make me the sidekick. That's good enough. The companion. Yeah, like I said, I'll hold all your stuff. I'll get downed in every battle, and you'll have to revive me. Waste your own medical supply. I'll get caught on some, you know, barrier, some like a piece of like a tree, and you'll be walking all this ways away from me, and you won't see me behind you, and then we'll load into a new space, and I'll be there. Be like the most obnoxious characters you could think of in video games. Like I love Fallout, but like Nick Valentine, he's just a synth with a gun. He's really not useful. I think that's like kind of the comedicness of having the companion is that they're kind of just a sidekick. I mean, they're there for a little bit of entertainment and sometimes it can help. Like in Skyrim, you can give your companion like armor and good weapons and maybe make them a little bit of a tank. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I get lucky. Maybe I get a good main character and they're very loving and they like to give me like good equipment and stuff like that too. Oh, how blessed I would be. I would just be so obsessed with so many of the side things, upgrading skills. I'd just be like in Skyrim, I'll just sit at the blacksmith for so long, or in Fallout, just trying to like go around killing random enemies so that I can gain XP to upgrade a specific perk or whatever. I just get so distracted. I'd be making my player a tank. I'd be 100% in one armed combat and 100% in armor and 100% in magic. I'd be killing it. I'd be doing it. I'd be the best. But I love like the craziness that video games can get into, right? Kind of that's the whole point is that it's an imaginary world. And some of them are very realistic or hold certain aspects and realism, but when you get those crazy over the top things, right? You get this like big boss battles, fighting a dragon or, fighting some giant, whatever the thing of Fallout 4 is, the big robot that like attacks you if you when you fight the Brotherhood of Steel. That stuff is crazy. I don't know if I can handle that. Don't know if I can handle fighting giant monsters and stuff. And also just the other unfortunate things of like, let's say I was the main character and I have the nuisance of a sidekick. It'd be unfortunate. I'd be getting over in cupboards too easy. I'd be carrying everything that I didn't need. Probably would die a lot. Need a lot of health potions and resurrection potions. But I love thinking about being a video game character. Hopefully I'd have a few cheat codes, you know what I'm saying? Make my gameplay a little easier. The infinite money cheat in The Sims or in Grand Theft Auto or something like that. Give me an extra few lives so I'm not at the game too easy. Hopefully I don't have to respawn too often. But ever since I was a kid, it's always been something that I don't only just enjoy the gameplay of games, but when a game manages to build a whole world and they create these characters that it really attracts you. It makes you want to be in those games, and when they make like movies and they bring it to life, it's quite awesome to see sometimes. But what game what video game would y'all be in? What would be like the character or who would your character be? I love video games and I know forever that I'll play games that I'll want to be involved in or like I'll just want to be in the world in. I'll try to do my best to always immerse myself and have fun playing video games. I love video games. I've played video games for most of my life, probably the better part of 24 years or whatever, somewhere around there. And over time, there are 100% some companies that I feel like have stuck out from other companies, at least to me. Some companies that I feel like have done the best, like Rockstar Games or EA has had its perks, as well as Bethesda. And I mean, just tons of other companies, also including Activision and Blizzard. Recently I read an article that I had I had kind of known about the news already. I'd heard in the gamer sphere a little bit of the buzz of Microsoft buying out Activision Blizzard. A while ago, those two companies had merged and Microsoft recently has bought them out. I don't know if it's still like a super pending thing or if it's already been successfully bought, but I was still reading this article and it was talking about this man named Phil Spencer who works for Xbox, and he was talking about wanting to revive some old game franchises, specifically ones that go along with Activision or Blizzard, the ones that they have done over time. And unfortunately, he was kind of talking about it being Xbox exclusives. So not all these games that Activision and Blizzard have made have been, console exclusive. So unfortunately, if we got these remakes, we would have them be now Xbox exclusive games. So you'd have to own an Xbox, which I mean, it's awesome that we would get a chance to have like new games brought in and a new generation of gamers playing games that I loved, that I once loved. And there's seemingly I was reading that there's not a lot of pressure on like any developers under the Microsoft subsidy, to make any remakes. So hopefully we just get a couple over time, couple spread out or whatever. Um, Phil Spencer was talking about releasing them on Xbox Game Pass, maybe, and just kind of garnering maybe like attention and a little bit and seeing how much people really want the remakes. I read the article on Game Rant. That's where the article was on. Um, but the list of games was crazy. I was kind of I don't know all of them, but some of them are pretty cool. So I'll run through a bunch that I remember, but I don't remember mostly. I just kind of heard of, and then I want to talk about a select few that mean something at least personally to me. But there was games on there like Blur, which was kind of like Burnout. It was a vehicular combat game. You kind of run through these different tracks and you can ram other players off, of course, and it was a pretty great game. It was pretty cool. Also, Call of Duty. I don't know if that means, I mean, we get new Call of Duties all the time, so but there was a time when Activision was involved in Call of Duty, and so maybe we'll get some remakes, some like remasters. But then there was also Candy Crush, which blew up on everybody's phone. DJ Hero, which I'll talk about Guitar Hero in a second. Geometry Wars. There was King's Quest, which is like an old school like Activision game, as well as Pitfall, which is like an OG Super Nintendo game. Space Quest, Quest for Glory, Quest stuff. A game called Zorg, which I was looking up and then I didn't really find too much about, or at least maybe I guess admittingly wasn't super interested to find out about. And then like Skylanders, which was those like little figurines that you could put on the whatever the receptacle thing and it would show up in game, whatever. It was a great idea, very cool. But those are just a few games that kind of over time have just gone off into obscurity in some ways, just forgotten over time or whatever. But some of these games, I feel like people still look on with like a nostalgic lens, and very much so. I think people still play these types of game or these games, whatever iteration, numbers, whatever it may be. But the first I saw was Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot was a Naughty Dog game. So I don't know if it was like bought out by Activision or whatever or Blizzard. I think it was Activision that bought it out. But Crash Bandicoot was one of the first games I ever played. And to me, kind of like a PlayStation mascot, you know what I'm saying? Like Mario kind of represents Nintendo and Sonic represents Sega, kind of. Crash Bandicoot kind of felt like PlayStation's mascot. One of the first games I ever played, I remember playing Warp Zone, that Crash Bandicoot specifically, the Crash Bandicoot Racing. Ah, I love those games. The Crash Bandicoot games are great, and also Spyro the Dragon. I That was another one of my first games. It was amazing. It was that kind of cartoony style that was starting to become very popular in like gaming around that like mid 90s, little late 90s. And especially with 3D gaming, now worlds were more 3D mapped. It just looked beautiful. And it was a fun tale about a little purple dragon. What do you want? What do you want? But then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Um, infa- Infamously, the Tony Hawk games have kind of fell off over the years, and there are a couple of great games, and very much so, like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the first four games. Yeah, first four games. Sorry, I threw myself off. Were great, very classic. Got a lot of people into skateboarding. And I mean, my favorite Tony Hawk game is Tony Hawk Underground. So, and Tony Hawk American Wasteland. So, if we got like remakes of those games, because a couple years ago they tried, or they did remake the first two games, or like loosely remade them, and it was pretty popular. And then they made like a fifth Pro Skater, and it flopped. But that got me into skateboarding. It made me interested in the culture and of skateboarding, and even though I didn't know how to really skate myself, I tried. But I liked being part of skate culture, and very much so like dressing like a skateboarder. But what else? There was Guitar Hero. I have said for so long, like, what's the point that it just died out? It just stopped making money, and it's pretty disappointing. I love Guitar Hero. Very much so. It was something that I used to play almost every day. I I thought it was pretty good. I used to love Rock Band as well, but Guitar Hero, the first one I remember playing was like the second one when I was in like fifth grade or something like that. And then like the next year, the third one came out, and I remember buying it, and I loved it. That was like the ultimate game. Everybody loved playing that game. And I think rhythm games, are still very relevant. So it would be a perfect time to do Guitar Hero. Definitely over DJ Hero. I'm okay with Guitar Hero coming back for sure. Also True Crime. I thought that was pretty awesome. There was a True Crime LA and then True Crime New York. Uh, I didn't really play True Crime LA, but I know that the game Sleeping Dogs was kind of like a loose sequel to the True Crime series. But I didn't play True Crime LA, and then I did play True Crime New York. I thought that was an amazing game. It was very like atmospheric, and you play as a cop in New York City. What else? What more do you want? And it had a little customization. I'm big on like customization. That's very much so. I like games that are like that. You know, RPGs, open world, that type of stuff. But true crime, maybe like even like just another Sleeping Dogs game would be cool. Why not? Just to continue the story, just continue the. It's just cool cop games. We need those kind of games. I'll talk about a couple more. I'll throw together World of Warcraft and StarCraft. Those are both like Blizzard properties, but very innovative in the what is it, like the MOBAs, the open world battle arena kind of games. And I remember tons of kids playing more so World of Warcraft. StarCraft was just like a futuristic version of World of Warcraft, I think. But nonetheless, these open world, you can go to all these different cities and interact with different players in an open online arena. And you could work together to fight bosses or work against each other and fight each other. But those games were awesome. And very much so, you see kind of those style of games imprinted over time. Dota or like RuneScape was, kind of a game like that. I played RuneScape, but those games are awesome. And all the games that I've talked about, even like I left out Prototype and Diablo. Diablo is like World of Warcraft and StarCraft. So these games are all just classics. And it was kind of making me realize that I guess Activision and Blizzard really shaped a lot of my gaming, at least Activision in my early years. And I didn't know that Activision and Blizzard had like joined forces, so it's awesome. But still with the whole buying out by Microsoft, and that might make these games Xbox exclusives, and I don't plan on buying an Xbox. I don't. Now I do have a Microsoft computer, so I think I have access to like the Xbox Game Pass or something. Like I just don't have like an actual Xbox. And I don't plan on buying an Xbox. I'm going PS5 or I'm just gonna stick to my computer. But I probably will play video games for the rest of my life. And when I get to see new gamers come in, kids, whatever the new game is, Fortnite or, Among Us or whatever it is, it's still awesome to see that kids are still playing video games. And it warms my heart thinking that the games that I loved as a kid maybe come back and plenty of other kids will get to play them. But I suggest that everybody go and play these games again because I still play some of them and they're awesome. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about that. You know, yeah, I probably won't ever be famous, I'm never gonna really ever rub elbows with the stars, theoretically, probably, maybe. And I think about quite often a lot of my favorite celebrities, and there's a lot of celebrities that I love. Think they're great people, or I enjoy the art that they make, the movies, the music, whatever it is. And I think how intimidating it would be to meet these celebs, even if I would recognize them. I think so. They're people that I kind of see on the screen or whatever it may be, but it's kind of yeah, it's intimidating to think about meeting a celebrity, especially ones that you love. And I'm like everybody else in that I idolize a few celebrities. I try not to hold them on a certain pedestal to where it's like I want to shape my life directly after what they do, but there are a lot of celebrities that I think are great people. And if I ever got chance to meet one, just in the chance, like the randomness of walking to the store or at the store, I think it'd be like total shock. It'd be like a disassociation. I've gotten a chance to meet one celebrity in my life, and I got to meet Tony Dorsett. Tony Dorsett is a Dallas Cowboys legend. He came into the place that I was working at. I was working at a place called Cowboy Chicken, and he came in with his wife and got an autograph. But it was pretty like I didn't recognize him at first. I kind of had to do like a triple take, like lean my head sideways and say like, "Hey, he kind of looks like Tony Dorsett." Oh, he is Tony Dorsett. And I came up to him and told him I was a big fan, and I told him I was from Minnesota, and immediately had to let me know that longest like run from scrimmage was him 99 yards against Minnesota in Minnesota. I thought it was awesome. But it's a whole thing of what's the first thing you would say to celebs, right? I'm not a super I try to be friendly, but I miss social cues a lot. I'm not great with things and not great with introductions, so it would just be like, at least my name, right? At least if I can say that, then they know who I am, and maybe they can lead the conversation themselves. I don't know if I could like meet a fan like or meet them and say that I'm a fan even. I think that would be obvious, maybe, hope, if I'm just a regular person coming up to a celeb and but it's like weird to think like, "Oh, I love all your movies," or "I love all your music," and then just start listing all your favorites. I kind of come at it with this idea of I want to meet, the person, the celeb, which is, you try to be friendly. Yeah, just try to be as normal as I can humanly take. But I can visualize it in my head a little bit. I try to think that I'd be cool or I could be a little calm and collected, but I know it would be different in person. Like I said, that immediate shock, whoa, that stunness. But I've also think about the old added, what is it? The whole like old saying of never meet your heroes type thing, right? Because the either A, they're not what you thought they were, or you'll never live up to what they do, so it's like disappointing in that way or the other way. Which but said that I'm not going to be them, you know? I don't, like I said, I try not to put celebs on that pedestal to where I want to shape myself after them. You know, if they're good people, then it's cool to admire the good things they do, but, you know, I don't think it would let me down. So, and also just knowing the way that humans can feel, and just, not everybody is on their A game. Not everybody is ready to meet a fan or something like that, or to interact with anybody. And I would love to get the chance to hang out with a few of these celebs, just to like see what happens and just to have friends. I mean, I guess I could just go make, friends out in the real world, not have to think about the celebrity world. If it was more businessy, more professional, it wouldn't be that bad, I think, because it's just strictly a professional, thing. I'm not telling them I'm a fan, and, they're not coming up to meet me in like a meet or greet situation. So strictly transactional. Yeah, but think about like a random encounter probably is the most realistic thing. I don't think I'm gonna win a sweepstake anytime soon to go hang out with the Sprouse twins. Do y'all remember that? Y'all remember the Danimals commercial that was, you could win a sweepstakes to hang out with the Sprouse. It was like a whole thing like last year that people were like, "Who won that contest? Who won that sweepstakes?" But if I ran into a random celebrity in public, I'm not always looking at people. I like people watching, but sometimes, I kind of just got my head down and I'm not necessarily like analyzing anybody's face or anything. I just kind of like looking. So, you know, I run into a celebrity, I probably I might recognize them, but also if I haven't watched one of their movies in the last few days or whatever, then I might not. They might not be as fresh. Got a lot of my mind sometimes. But I know there are plenty of either dead or alive celebrities. And even further, I was thinking about like celebrities that I'd like to meet, but even in the future, I would love to talk about like historical figures that I'd like to meet, fictional characters that I'd like to meet, but celebs. Starting with the celebs for for today. I think one of the first ones that I usually always say is I want to read. I wish I would have got a chance to meet Robin Williams. I love that man, and he was my whole childhood, as I think a lot of ours. If you grew up in the late '90s and kind of like early 2000s, he was everywhere. And when he died, it was sad for everyone. And just knowing how sad and depressed he was in real life, that he felt like he needed to take himself out. And that's upsetting too. But I always say that Robin Williams would have been the number one. And, one day, maybe like in the afterlife, that does happen. I just think he would be so funny and so lucid and so fluid and would just bring up the whole vibe. Would just make you feel very comfortable and like it's like an actual wholesome interaction. Like he would actually would want to meet you or something like that. I miss him. I do. And he's like I said, he'll probably be my number one for a long time. Another celeb easily who is alive that I think I probably have a good chance to see in the streets is Andre 3000. Every time I see like videos of Andre 3000 nowadays, he's like just walking around playing a flute. Not here in Dallas, but wherever he is, you know, just he looks like a homeless dude playing the flute. Sorry for the disrespect. I didn't mean it. But I idolize him for sure. I say he's one of the smoothest dudes to ever jump on the mic. He's one of my favorite if not my favorite rapper, probably. probably is my favorite rapper. He is my favorite rapper, but it just seems like he has this like calmness to him. Just a very smooth cat and just seems awesome. And like I said, like I don't know if I would be I try not to be super fangirly, right? Where I don't want to just say like how much his music means to me, I'd want to meet Andre the person. I want to meet him as who he is. Just vibe with him. I just think he'd be a calming presence, another one of those very calming presences. And hopefully, if I build some, repartee and some sort of comfort with him, that, you'd love to talk a little bit about music. I think, just like I said, it's about seeing these people, if anything, So, Jack Black, that's another one. I think Jack Black is everybody's uncle, is the internet's uncle. He's awesome. He has another one of those people who kind of shaped my childhood, kind of been everywhere in my childhood, and just a wholesome guy. It seems he's sweet, and another one of those like he would genuinely want to like talk to you and meet you, and it's just kind of cool to see the things he does on like YouTube. He hasn't really posted in a while, but just seeing him pop up, and he's always going to be in movies and hopefully, and he's kind of centered towards a little more wholesome content as of late, right? You know, we probably won't get another Tenacious D movie. Another School of Rock movie would be great, but obviously all those kids are a little older now. They're all our age, my age. And the drummer Freddie is dead, unfortunately. Rest in peace. But Jack Black would be just a guy that maybe another one of those like that kind of looks like your everyday person, just like Andre 3000. Maybe I wouldn't even recognize him right off the bat. I would just like walk past him and be like, "Was that Jack Black? Was that really him?" But who else? Lauren Hill, another like musician who I absolutely idolize, and I think she's absolutely gorgeous. And I would like to just feel her vibe. It's the whole thing. I just want to like meet cool people, I think. This is kind of what it is. I think I just want to I've met a lot of cool people in my life, but just want to be around cool people, smooth people, And she's smooth, man. I love her music and think she'd be pretty cool, pretty funny too. Just really chill, relaxed. And I'd love to talk music with her. It doesn't have to be necessarily her music, right? Avoiding the fangirl thing, but just to like, you know, pick apart her brain. Even talk about like she was an actress, like she's done acting, at least a couple things. So ask her if she'd ever think about doing that. I like to think about, especially with like her and Andre 3000, thinking about if they ever regret leaving music or what would be the perfect circumstance to come back, or if it had to be a perfect circumstance. I feel like both of them are kind of under the guise of like of you know it's only when they feel like they're relevant or when they feel like they have things actually in their life to write about, then they can make music or they feel like it's appropriate for them to make music. But yeah, man, those are just a few celebs. I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to meet any celebs, but I just want to be as friendly as possible, right? At least if I can get my name out, that's fine, right? At least I did that. But that would be a dream to have one of them be a friend. Maybe one day, that maybe one day down the road. We'll see how far things can go. Alrighty, friends. That's really all I have to say about that. Episode 25 done. Thank you for stopping by and listening. If you want to listen to any of my episodes, including this one, I always post them on Spotify or YouTube under the Odd Thoughts Podcast. How convenient. If you found it enjoyable or relatable, then I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. Anybody, just any love. You can also follow me on a few of my different social medias. I have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All those will be linked in the description, or it's not linked, but they'll be in the description. Also, at the end of the video, you can find out what the names of all those social medias are. Sorry, little rambly. But nonetheless, thank y'all for stopping by. I just love the chance to get on the microphone and talk to y'all, and I know that if it's just one person or 10 people or 20 people, I hope that I'm giving people a little bit of comfort and I'm talking about things that hit home for people and just trying to stick to the everyday odd thoughts. Yeah, but I love y'all. Thank you for stopping by. Please show up for
Sending this
yourselves
one
every
out
single day and be excellent to each other.